Regarding clean energy, people often think of it as a non-profitable enterprise, but a necessity because of environmental issues. What do you think in terms of how the business can actually make a profit and implement a sustainable profit model? Perhaps you can give us an investment example which demonstrates the feasibility of making a profit in clean tech.
That's a very good point. I think people understand at this point there's no question that clean tech has to happen somehow because of pollution, global warming, and scarcity issues. And world leaders like Premier Wen, President Hu, and President Obama wouldn't be saying these things if it weren't the case. It's absolutely critical that in order for clean tech to really scale, it has to be affordable. That's why we have this saying, making affordable clean tech happen. I think the best example today would be wind power. By slow improvements in the technology, initially driven by European and American makers, it has become viable. More recently, the Chinese have joined the game with technology and manufacturing innovations as well. But it has really been, frankly, Chinese manufacturing innovation and scale which have driven the cost of making wind turbines down to the point where wind is now for the first time really in line with coal, which is phenomenal. And that allows wind to scale at a level that I don't think most people understand right now. So that's a big change in the clean tech industry, and we are very involved in that by investing in companies like China Wind Systems, which are consistently driving down the cost by improving manufacturing processes and quality, and also adapting more and more advanced technologies in both the windmills themselves. Also, the manufacturing technology used to make them decreases their cost to the point where now they are really cost-effective.
We are very interested in your personal experiences and interests. You studied finance and are a professional investor. Especially on Wall Street, people often invest in stocks in areas other than clean tech, which they believe will yield higher returns than clean energy. Why do you select clean energy as an investment focus instead of other higher return industries?
It's always difficult to navigate because running a fund, you have to look out for the interest of the investors. Although I'm by far the largest investor in the fund personally, I couldn't sacrifice returns by doing something just because I feel like it, even though it's altruistic. Investing in clean tech because I thought it was really cool because it helps the world, but it's not going to make any money, wouldn't be fair to the other investors. If I was doing it just for my own money, that would be fine, but not for their money. That wouldn't be right. We make sure that our clean tech investments not only are driven by the passion of clean tech, but also they have to be good investments, and we marry them together. The only way that clean tech can become really huge is if people have that same mentality. Making overpriced clean tech and then hoping that people will give subsidies, that's really not going to work long term. That's why our Making Affordable Clean Tech Happen slogan is very important. In terms of my family background, from a very young age, I have been involved in clean tech things. My brother and I actually designed a windmill out of a big garbage can. You cut it in half and make it into an S shape, and the wind blows it around when we were little kids. And we wanted to put a much bigger one on top of the water tower in the town, but my dad didn't think that was the best idea. My brother went to MIT, and I was at Harvard and MIT. Actually, before he was at MIT, he built a solar car when he was a kid, and that was a big part of him getting into MIT. At MIT, 2 of the 4 years there, he got the top engineering award. He made a lot of technology breakthroughs in electric cars and solar cars. Now, with his wife, they own and run one of the biggest solar inverter companies in the U.S., which are used in solar, transforming solar energy into the energy in the grid from DC to AC. And then my sister is a professor, and she works very heavily in research related to global warming. So you are absolutely right. It has been a big family thing. I have been waiting to get into the clean tech business, although frankly, it's only when it became affordable to the point where it can work economically is when we jumped into it. So that is a good coincidence with us already being in China, because that's a good way to really make it happen on a large scale due to Chinese manufacturing innovation and scale. We did actually invest in Tech Precision Corporation slightly before we invested in other clean tech companies in China. Tech Precision is a U.S. company, so I guess we started in late 2004. That was our first investment in clean tech.
We would like to hear your thoughts on China's prospects for development in the clean tech industry. Right now, the National People's Congress, NPC, and National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, CPPCC, are taking place. And the 12th five-year plan has been issued for China's development over the next 5 years. What are your thoughts on the investment opportunities, especially in clean technology?
I read the entire plan, and it covers an awful lot of ideas. Chinese Premier Wen's goals. Basically, there are so many in there that we are really going to focus on areas that we understand and that we think we can make a difference in. For us, it's new energy, energy efficiency or energy savings, and the general idea of social welfare. A big part of that is labor rate increases over time. So our whole idea of having higher technology value add, higher manufacturing innovation value add, leading ultimately to a higher return on capital in those businesses means higher pay for workers. So it's all good all around. Another area not as specifically stated, but just the general concept of technology innovation and advancing to higher levels of manufacturing expertise and technology value add. Well, a good example of that is China Tech Faith Wireless Communication Technology Limited, which is a company we have invested in, which has transformed from being a manufacturer of phones to being a very high value-add manufacturer of smartphones, and also has become a leader in technology and motion gaming at the same time, which is a pretty amazing transition as an example of aligning with the general idea of China going to the next level and really being a technology innovator.